Peace and good morning to you. It is November the 15th, Tuesday morning, 7:32. It's supposed to have been on at 7:31, but it's 7:32. It is okay, but like always, we'll start in the spirit of gratitude, um, in the spirit of peace, whatever it is to you, however you do. I pray that your morning is blessed. You're able to see me, and I'm able to see you. For those who communicate, I will say good morning in hopes I receive good morning in return from you, because we always want what's best. Because I want what's best for you, and I no sound. No, are you serious? No sound. No. Hold on. Let me try something out. Still no sound. Test, test, test. 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Sound. Test 1, 2. How about sound? Is it sound now? Please say yes. I see the thing moving, but I don't know. Wait, with you. You hear anything? Does that sound? Yes. No. Maybe so. No. 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 Yes. 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 Okay. Here we go. I refuse to not get this message out. Out now. Can you hear me now? Is there sound now? No. Yes. Yes. No. No sound. Yes sound. No sound. I don't know. I'm waiting. Okay. I am going to. Lord, I'm gonna come out and come back up like this. Hear me? Okay. I don't know what's going on. How she can't hear me? All right, Mr. Parker, I appreciate you for letting me know. Okay, now it's here. All right, bet. I was about to say, like, all right, wow, come back in. I hate it, but it's okay. I stuck with it. We're gonna still no sound, Mr. Parker. Can you hear me? Yes, no, maybe so, sir. Mr. Parker, James Parker Jr. Can you hear me? No. I don't want to run through it and nobody hear me. Only one person said I hear you. You got one person saying I hear you, another person saying I don't hear you. All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come out and come back in. What in the world? Okay. All right. So I guess it's just you, Miss Queenie, because Mr. Parker said he hears me, and Miss Boo said she hear me. So I'm gonna run with it. So I guess this is what it's gonna be like, especially you talking about a fear of success. Uh, that's wild how things work in the morning. But my question to you now, you can hear me. Oh my god! All right, so I'm gonna put the question up, the proposed question. Have you ever heard of fear of success? Have you ever heard of fear of success? That is today's question. Have you ever heard of fear of success, or someone being afraid of being successful. Peace. So we're going to touch on that today. Um, and it's really going to have to come from an honest place for us to really expose or for us to really acknowledge what a fear of success is and how we can combat that. So what I want to learn from you now that I've heard you say that you've heard of a fear of success, how do you see it? Like, how do you define it? And have that ever been you? Have you ever been afraid of success? Because for me, I know, like my, my son when he was in high school, one of the things that he he used to act out sometimes because he said, "I don't want anyone to know that I was smart." So he will dumb himself down just so his friends don't think he's a nerd or he's the smart guy or he's the smart one. So he won't answer questions in school, or he just won't do the work because his other friends are not doing their work and they're not capable of exercising their gifts. So he would dumb himself down. And of course, a lot, as he got older and, where we can have real, true adult conversations uh, about that. And I just begin to learn more, about the fear of success. And I tell him all the time, I said, as an adult, it's cool to be a nerd. Like, it's real cool to be a nerd. A lot of people need the gift that you have. Whether it's your gift of reasoning or your gift of being a solutionist, whatever it is, it's cool at the time. But for him in his age group, it wasn't cool to him. He was having a fear of success because he was trying to fit in. I think that's where it went wrong. Trying to fit in because your gift is your gift. Your purpose is your purpose. So being afraid of being successful is something that you put on yourself, not something that was influenced, but something that you really put on you. All right. Yes, self-sabotage, 100%. A fear of success is self-sabotage. So let's go ahead and jump in this piece. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate you for coming in the room today. So let's go ahead and have this conversation. Good morning, Mr. Selena. So a fear of success. Of course, for those who may be new to the platform, you're going to get definitions of words. You're going to get the inversion of words, whether it's red over white or white over red. If I say red over white, pay attention to the words that are in red and write down or put inside the chat how you see it. If I say white over red, I mean focus on the words that are in white and you put into the chat how you see that. And then we'll go from there. Then we go into the deep dive. We'll go ahead and close it out. Today is really not. So the first definition of success, it says the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose. And again, we're still staying on the context of a fear of success or the fear of success, I should say. The accomplishment of an aim. A lot of times when we get to the point of what we are striving to accomplish and we reach that goal that we're aiming towards, sometimes what happens, we get nervous that we can't keep it up. We get so nervous that we can't keep it up that we begin to, like Miss Queenie said, we begin to sabotage our success or sabotage our future because we have accomplished that which what we were aiming for. And when we begin to self-sabotage that goal or self-sabotage that thing that we were aiming for just because we hit it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's over just because you hit that. You have more goals to accomplish. You have more targets that you can acquire. You have more blessings that can come out just from accomplishing that goal. But don't tear down the thing that you aim at just because you hit the first target. Again, it says the accomplishment of an aim. Don't run from it just because you achieve it. And just because you achieved it doesn't necessarily mean that the task is done. There's always room to improvement. There's always room for correction. There is always room for growth. So it doesn't mean that it's over just because you have accomplished it, right? Just because you reach the goal doesn't mean the purpose is over. Just like when it says in the definition, it says for purpose. The purpose didn't change. The purpose probably has now been fortified. The purpose may now then begin the process of encouraging you to do more because you have reached and you have accomplished that thing that you were aiming towards. It does not mean burn the bridge so nothing else can come across, because when we burn that bridge, don't you know that you cut yourself off from everything else that can come even after you have reached that goal that you have accomplished? I don't know who this is for, but somebody needed to hear it today. Stop burning your bridges, because that's the same bridge that you were supposed to come across. You cut yourself off just because you were reached. That don't mean you're not. You don't have a need to go back. But what if you did have to go back? You burned the bridge now, and you can't go back and learn from what you have just came away from, because you ate all the breadcrumbs. So you can't go back to learn at that starting point to where it can be fixed or corrected. The fear of success. The second definition, it says the state or condition of meeting a defined range of expectation. And the inversion on this is red over white, which is the state or condition of defined expectations. How do you see that? Put that in the chat. Put how you see the state or condition of defined expectations. I'm going to tell you how I see it. I'm going to read some of y'all's too. So the state or condition of defined expectation. So when you're talking about success could be a state of mind, because success is a journey, right? It's a journey. It's a psychological journey. It is that mental path that you go down because you're heading towards a direction that you feel is what's right for you. So it is a state of mind. It is a mindset. Like, where is your thoughts? Because remember, when we talked about fear 2 weeks ago, fear is the results of your thoughts. I'm going to say that again. Fear is a direct result of your thoughts, because that thing that you think about, you set the conditions. You set the tone. Because of the process of thought, it will not be or reach the level of success, because you set the tone in the state of mind that you were in when you talked about being successful. So because when you set the conditions, it will be only defined by the expectations that you have on yourself after the success have been reached. Like, you're afraid of the expectations of doing it again. You're afraid of the expectations of keeping it up. You're afraid of the expectations of sustaining that sustainable message that you tell yourself when you were in that state of mind. Like, look, you did it before, let's do it again. But because you told yourself, like, man, maybe it wasn't right for me to do. Like, okay, yeah, I'm making money now, but man, my people ain't making money too. So let me. Well, maybe it wasn't for me. That's crazy. That's foolishness. That's that self-sabotage. That's the low-hanging fruit. Like we said 2 weeks ago, maybe the low-hanging fruit is not the one that you're supposed to be reaching. Maybe the low hanging fruit may not be your level of success. Maybe the fruit that you should be aiming for, it may be on the third level of the tree that you may have to get a ladder or be able to climb up the branches in order for you to succeed in that state of conditioning that you're going to need in order to accomplish that goal in which you aim. I'm just giving you definition. Like, what conditions have you defined for yourself? Like, what conditions have you found yourself in? What conditions do you continually find yourself in that you have worked in your demise, that has worked in your demise because you've put yourself there? You've created this false hope and this false expectation that you can't be successful because my mama wasn't successful, my daddy wasn't successful, no one else in my family was successful. For my fear of success is based on what I have considered the conditions of poor, or the conditions of being broke, or the conditions of the trauma that my family has always faced. But what if you face the fear of success and you redefine the expectations of the legacy that you're going to live because you're no longer afraid of being successful? What if you were the one that was waiting? They were waiting on you to be successful. You open up so many doors and so many gates because you crash through it and you bust through it, because now whoever coming after you, you've breached the expectation to give them something to work towards, something to look at. Because you did what? You set the conditions of the defined expectation. Fear is a condition, right? It's a condition, but it's only a condition when you understand that it is the thought process that comes in the reaction of what you're thinking. The state. Fear is just a state of mind. You can't go and buy fear, but you can respond to how you actually condition yourself when fear sets in. Then you can redefine your expectations. You've done it. You've done it before. Now do it again. The fear of success. Now let's take this quick deep dive, and then we're gonna close it out. So I was speaking with someone this past day, and he told me that if I get the story wrong, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna come back and say it again. But so he was in the military at the time. And there was a guy that played basketball. They were in Panama. They used to play in an all army basketball team. And when he told me this story, this is the origin of today's conversation, the fear of success, because he said there's this basketball player that he played with. And this player was like, he will always sabotage his himself. He will sabotage when he does great. He'll sabotage himself with his thoughts. He'll tear himself down, whether it's through action or whatever. And he said he had asked him, he was like, man, why are you always doing this? He said, because success scares me, but fear I'm familiar with. And I was like, ooh. I was like, man, I should have wrote that down. But it had penetrated my thoughts so much that I didn't have to write it down because it recorded to memory, because it hit a different tone for me. He said, success, I am unfamiliar with, but fear, I'm familiar with fear. I'm familiar with failure. Because you're familiar with failure and you're familiar with fear doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stay there. But he was unfamiliar with success. No matter how many times he scored the winning shot or won the games and stuff like that, he was familiar with fear. He was familiar with the failure because it puts us in a fight or flight when fear sets in. Like you feel you feel strong, like, okay, like I'm not gonna let this bother me. So you clutch yourself so strong to the point to where your arms can get tight and your muscles begin to create spasms because the fear has set in. That's like somebody saying, I have a fear of healing, right? I have a fear of healing. So I'm always going to allow myself to stay in this trauma because I have a fear of healing. That might be true. I don't know. I've never been in that place. Because if you have a fear of healing and you always find yourself in this place of turmoil because the process of healing is really letting go. And when you understand the state of mind of letting go, you have to do what? You have to begin to recondition the expectations on what healing is to you. Or you have to recondition the expectations on what walking away from trauma does to you. Or recondition now what is success because you know what failure feels like, you know what fear feels like, so recondition the mind to change the reactions on how you think. So success may be viewed as the opposite of failure, yes, but the fear of success is a concern or a thought that once we even have achieved that new thing, that will be incapable of sustaining it, so we suffer from it. Like, don't be afraid of winning because winning looks good on you. Don't be afraid of success because success is just waiting on you to change your perspectives. Fear is a perspective. Put into the chat. Fear is a perspective because it really is. If you look at it, it is a perspective based on the foundations of your thoughts. Fear is a perspective because now that fear is now that success is waiting on you to change your perspective, it's waiting on you to renegotiate your creativity. Maybe you need to go back into that renegotiation phase, like, okay, I've done this before, right? I wrote it down, I wrote the vision, I made it plain, I sat with my mentors, I've done more research, and now I think I can renegotiate my creativity. Like, man, you got this, you can do this. You've done it before. And because you've done it before, that gives you the process and the energy or the state of mind that you can do it again. Take that step and another and another. And by the time you notice, you're a lot closer to walking away from your fears and a whole lot closer into success without fear. So, what are you going to do with it now? Now that you have understand the process of success, fear is still real, right? We cannot not say that. Fear is still real, but fear is still a perspective. Success looks good on you. Wear it. It come in your size, right? success really comes in your size. Like when they say the shoe fits where success comes in your size. Say that. Success comes in my size. So success is yours. You just got to go out and obtain it. You got to go out and just get it because trust and believe it does come in your size. You look at what other people have and be like, man, how do they do that? That's because they've trained themselves to get to that point. They've groomed themselves to get to that point. They created alternatives to get to that point. It's just like when you buy a jacket or whatever and it doesn't fit you, you have to do what? You have to take it to alterations to get it to fit your size. Take your thoughts and take it to alterations and get it fit for your size because success comes in your size. Whether it be a shoe, a jacket, a shirt, pants, whatever it is, it comes for you. It definitely comes in your size. Miss Queenie said, I'm gonna put it on there. Miss Queenie said, move fear by acknowledging it, true, and push through it, true. Success fits me very well, and it comes in my size. 100%. It's just like when to a store and they have the dressing room. You don't know if it comes in your. You don't know if it fits you until you try it on. So when you're going to try on success, when you're going to write down what success means to you, like what is that thing that is going to create that level of success that you need? All right, that's it. Man, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Success Knows My Name. Also, subscribe to the podcast platform and the distributions of iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, um, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean. So what happens, like after we're off the live, it gets downloaded and uploaded into an MP3, and it blasts out to all of them. So we take it, we edit it, and we put different music behind it. So if you ever want to hear it from a different perspective, listen to it in the podcast distribution. Then it'll hit different because we put a different layer behind it. All right. I appreciate you. We must link up someday on here. I've been waiting for you, Miss Queenie. You haven't sent that email so we can get you on here as a guest so we can tap into your conscience and so we can see about how you think with this process because consistency does create currency. All right. So I appreciate y'all, Mr. R2, here at your morning podcast of choice. Y'all be blessed. Peace.